the man who tells you that it is possible to value without values, to love those whom you appraise as worthless, is the man who tells you that it is possible to grow rich by consuming without producing and that paper money is as valuable as gold. Observe that he does not expect you to feel a causeless fear. When his kind get into power, they are expert at contriving means of terror, at giving you ample cause to feel the fear by which they desire to rule you. But when it comes to love, the highest of emotions, you permit them to shriek at you accusingly that you are a moral delinquent if you're incapable of feeling causeless love. When a man feels fear without reason, you call him to the attention of a psychiatrist. You are not so careful to protect the meaning, the nature and the dignity of love. Love is the expression of one's values, the greatest reward you can earn for the moral qualities you have achieved in your character and person, the emotional price paid by one man for the joy he receives from the virtues of another. Your morality demands that you divorce your love from values and hand it down to any vagrant, not as response to his worth, but as response to his need, not as reward, but as alms, not as a payment for virtues, but as a blank check on vices. Your morality tells you that the purpose of love is to set you free of the bonds of morality, that love is superior to moral judgment, that true love transcends, forgives and survives every manner of evil in its object, and the greater the love the greater the depravity it permits to the love. To love a man for his virtues is paltry and human, it tells you. To love him for his flaws is divine. To love those who are worthy of it is self-interest. To love the unworthy is sacrifice. You owe your love to those who don't deserve it, and the less they deserve it, the more love you owe them, the more loathsome the object. The nobler your love, the more unfastidious your love, the greater the virtue. And if you can't bring your soul to the state of a dumb heap that welcomes anything on equal terms, if you can't cease to value moral values, you have achieved the state of moral perfection. Such is your morality of sacrifice, and such are the twin ideals it offers: to refashion the life of your body in the image of a human stockyard, and the life of your spirit in the image of a dump. Such was your goal, and you've reached it. Why do you now moan complaints about man's impotence and the futility of human aspirations? Because you were unable to prosper by seeking destruction. Because you were unable to find joy by worshipping pain. Because you were unable to live by holding death as your standard of value. The degree of your ability to live was a degree to which you broke your moral code, yet you believe that those who preach it are friends of humanity. You damn yourself and dare not question their motives or their goals. Take a look at them now, when you face your last choice, and if you choose to perish, do so with full knowledge of how cheaply so small an enemy has claimed your life. The mystics of both schools, who preach the creed of sacrifice, are terms that attack you through a single source, your fear of relying on your mind. They tell you that they possess a means of knowledge higher than the mind, the mode of consciousness superior to reason, like a special pull with some bureaucrat of the universe who gives them secret tips withheld from others. The mystics of spirit declare that they possess an extra sense you lack. This special sixth sense consists of contradicting the whole of the knowledge of your five. The mystics of muscle do not bother to assert any claim to extrasensory perception. They merely declare that your senses are not valid, and that their wisdom consists of perceiving your blindness by some manner of unspecified means. Both kinds demand that you invalidate your own consciousness and surrender yourself into their power. They offer you, as proof of their superior knowledge, the fact that they assert the opposite of everything you know, and as proof of their superior ability to deal with existence, the fact that they lead you to misery, self-sacrifice, starvation, destruction. They claim that they perceive the mode of being superior to your existence on this earth. The mystics of spirit call it another dimension, which consists of denying dimensions. The mystics of muscle call it the future, which consists of denying the present. To exist is to possess identity. What identity are they able to give to their superior realm? They keep telling you what it is not, but never tell you what it is. All their identifications consist of negating. God is that which no human mind can know, they say, and proceed to demand that you consider it knowledge. God is non-man, heaven is non-earth, soul is non-body, virtue is non-profit, is non-day, perception is non-sensory, knowledge is non-reason. Their definitions are not acts of defining, but of wiping out. It is only the metaphysics of a leech that would cling to the idea of a universe where zero is a standard of identification. Each would want to seek escape from the necessity to name its own nature, escape from the necessity to know that the substance on which it builds its private universe is blood. What is the nature of that superior world to which they sacrifice the world that exists? The mystics of spirit curse matter. The mystics of muscle curse profit. The first wish meant to profit by renouncing the earth. The second wish meant to inherit the earth by renouncing all profit. Their non-material, non-profit worlds are realms where rivers run with milk and coffee, where wine spurts from rocks at their command, where pastry drops on them from clouds at the price of opening their mouth. On this material, profit-chasing earth, an enormous investment of virtue, of intelligence, integrity, energy, skill is required to construct a railroad to carry them the distance of 1 mile. In their non-material, non-profit world, they travel from planet to planet at the cost of a wish. If an honest person asks them, how, they answer with righteous scorn that how is the concept of vulgar realists. The concept of superior spirits is somehow on this earth restricted by matter and profit. Rewards are achieved by in a world set free of such restrictions, rewards are achieved by wishing. And that is the whole of their shabby secret. The secret of all their esoteric philosophies, of all their dialectics and super senses, of their evasive eyes and snarling words, the secret for which they destroy civilization, language, industries and lives, the secret for which they pierce their own eyes and eardrums, grind out their senses, blank out their minds. The purpose for which they dissolve the absolutes of reason, logic, matter, existence, reality is to erect upon that plastic fog the single holy absolute, their wish. The restriction they seek to escape is the law of identity. The freedom they seek is freedom from the fact that they will remain an ape, no matter what their tears or tantrums, that a river will not bring them milk, no matter what their hunger that water will not run uphill, no matter what comforts they could gain if it did. And if they want to lift it to the roof of a skyscraper, they must do it by a process of thought and labor, in which the nature of an inch of pipeline counts, but their feelings do not, that their feelings are impotent to alter the course of a single speck of dust in space of the nature of any action they have committed. Those who tell you that man is unable to perceive the reality undistorted by his senses, mean that they are unwilling to perceive the reality undistorted by their feelings. Things as they are things as perceived by your mind. Divorce them from reason and they become things as perceived by your wishes. There is no honest revolt against reason, and when you accept any part of their creed, your motive is to get away with something your reason would not permit you to attempt. The freedom you seek is freedom from the fact that if you stole your wealth, you are a scoundrel, no matter how much you give to charity or how many prayers you recite, that if you sleep with sluts, you're not a worthy husband, no matter how anxiously you feel that you love our wife next morning, that you are an entity, not a series of random pieces scattered through the universe where nothing sticks and nothing commits you to anything, the universe of a child's nightmare where identities switch and swim, where the rodder and the hero are interchangeable parts arbitrarily assumed, that you are a man, that you are an entity, that you are. No matter how eagerly you claim that the goal of your mystic wishing is a higher mode of life, the rebellion against identity is the wish for non-existence. The desire not to be anything is the desire not to be. Your teachers, the mystics of both schools, have reversed causality in their consciousness, then strive to reverse it in existence. They take their emotions as a cause, and their mind as a passive effect. They make their emotions their tool for perceiving reality. They hold their desires as an irreducible primary, as a fact superseding all facts. An honest man does not desire until he has identified the object of his desire. He says, "It is, therefore I want it." They say, "I want it, therefore it is." They want to cheat the axiom of existence and consciousness. They want their consciousness to be an instrument not of perceiving but of creating existence, and existence to be not the object but the subject of their consciousness. They want to be that God they created in their image and likeness, who creates the universe out of a void by means of an arbitrary whim. But reality is not to be cheated. What they achieve is the opposite of their desire. They want an omnipotent power over existence. Instead, they lose the power of the consciousness. By refusing to know, they condemn themselves to the horror of a perpetual unknown. Those irrational wishes that draw you to their creed, those emotions you worship as an idol, on whose altar you sacrifice the earth, that dark, incoherent passion within you, which you take as the voice of God or of your glands, is nothing more than the corpse of your mind. an emotion that clashes with your reason, an emotion that you cannot explain or control, is only the carcass of that stale thinking which you forbade your mind to revise. Whenever you committed the evil of refusing to think and to see, of exempting from the absolute of reality some small wish of yours, whenever you chose to say, let me withdraw from the judgment of reason the cookies I stole, or the existence of God, let me have my one irrational whim and I will be a man of reason about all else, that was the act of subverting your consciousness, the act of corrupting your mind. Your mind then became a fixed jury who takes orders from a secret underworld, whose verdict distorts the evidence to fit an absolute it dares not touch, and a censored reality is the result, a splintered reality where the bits you chose to see are floating among the chasms of those you didn't, held together by that embalming fluid of the mind which is an emotion exempted from thought. The links you strive to drown are casual connections. The enemy you seek to defeat is the law of causality. It permits you no miracles. The law of causality is the law of identity applied to action. All actions are caused by entities. The nature of an action is caused and determined by the nature of the entities that act. The thing cannot act in contradiction to its nature. An action not caused by an entity would be caused by a zero, which would mean a zero controlling the thing, a non-entity controlling an entity, the non-existent ruling the existent, which is the universe of your teacher's desire, the cause of their doctrines of causeless action, the reason of their revolt against reason, the goal of their morality, their politics, their economics, the ideal they strive for, the reign of the zero. The law of identity does not permit you to have your cake and eat it, too. The law of causality does not permit you to eat your cake before you have it. But if you drown both laws in the blanks of your mind, if you pretend to yourself and to others that you don't see, then you can try to proclaim your right to eat your cake today and mine tomorrow. You can preach that the way to have a cake is to eat it first, before you bake it, that the way to produce is to start by consuming, that all wishers have an equal claim to all things, since nothing is caused by anything. The corollary of the causeless in matter is the unearned in spirit. Whenever you rebel against causality, your motive is the fraudulent desire, not to escape it, but worse, to reverse it. You want unearned love, as if love, the effect, could give you personal value, the cause you want unearned admiration, as if admiration, the effect, could give you virtue, the cause you want unearned wealth, as if wealth, the effect, could give you ability, the cause you plead for mercy, mercy, not justice, as if an unearned forgiveness could wipe out the cause of your plea. And to indulge your ugly little shams, you support the doctrines of your teachers, while they run hog wild proclaiming that spending, the effect, creates riches, the cause, the machinery, the effect, creates intelligence, the cause, that your sexual desires, the effect, create your philosophical values, the cause. Who pays for the orgy? Who causes the causeless? Who are the victims, condemned to remain unacknowledged and to perish in silence, lest their agony disturb your pretense that they do not exist? We, the men of the mind. We are the cause of all the values that you covet, we who perform the process of thinking, which is the process of defining identity and discovering causal connections. We taught you to know, to speak, to produce, to desire, to love. You who abandon reason, were it not for us who preserve it, you would not be able to fulfill or even to conceive your wishes. You would not be able to desire the clothes that had not been made, the automobile that had not been invented, the money that had not been devised, as exchange for goods that did not exist, the admiration that had not been experienced for men who had achieved nothing, the love that belongs and pertains only to those who preserve their capacity to think, to choose, to value. You who leap like a savage out of the jungle of your feelings to the Fifth Avenue of our New York and proclaim that you want to keep the electric lights, but to destroy the generators, it is our wealth that you use while destroying us.